Hey there, Carmen here. I am a myofunctional therapist. If you don't know me or haven't talked to me or you don't follow me, I have a very thriving global practice. I also spend a ton of time here helping educate you guys so that you know and learn this stuff and why it's important to you. So my new blog came out today, talking about posture. So I'm going to be diving a little bit deeper, and I'm going to be talking about how posture is related to a tongue tie. I get asked this a lot. So really, this really is like that kid's song about the knee bone being connected to the thigh bone, connected to everything else, because our body, I mean, we're a bag of bones. We're ligaments, tendons, muscles, bones. If I didn't say bones, blood, all of these things help hold us together, really. And so connective tissue is related to a tongue tie in that it just compromises the structural alignment, rolls the shoulders forward, compresses the diaphragm, and that creates tension, a lot of tension. And so my best example is if you took like your shirt and you just kind of pulled and bunched it up, which, in connective tissue, when I work with my Rossiter clients, this is what I use to explain to them. So if you took your tissue or your shirt and you bunched it up, it's pulling in other places. So, and when you let go, this is what connective tissue looks like. So we got to get it back into the shape that it needs. Also hydration, movement. I mean, our bodies were meant to move. But those of you who have a tongue tie, it's compromising you. So I really, when I think about posture and it being a problem for my clients, I think about two things, and I'm going to really talk about one of those things really, and that is forward head posture. So I will say this, for those of you who are on my mailing list and who got my email this morning that went out, I shared a picture of myself with my sexy attire on from my own forward head posture therapy. I'm telling you, there's a head weights that I wear. There was a strap. And the only way that I could share that and explain that with my clients or my people on my mailing list, I should say, was to show a picture of myself. So I've kind of been laughing about that all day. If you didn't see it, you missed out because I am not posting it here. But we're going to talk about forward head posture. Really, this is bad because it is indicative of an airway crisis. So you're trying to get more air. When we became bipedal organisms, when we started walking around, we did not have to have, or we started to have this forward head posture because when we do our forward head posture, it makes it easier to get air. So like if you look at a dog, they breathe fine, whereas our air has to go in and take a 90-degree turn to get to our lungs. So that is why we start to see that forward head posture when we're doing this, because we're trying to get more air. So that combined with, so that obviously is changing your posture. That combined with, the rolled shoulders, the compressed diaphragm, so that's affecting your breathing. This can make it pretty miserable for people. I can imagine. Not to mention, I've told you guys this before about the hyoid bone, which is here at the bottom of in your throat. It's a bony structure that does not connect to anything else, but it connects to everything else with 9 other muscles. So it's getting pulled every which way. Connects to the floor of your mouth. It connects to your clavicle. It connects to your shoulder blades. I mean, and so that helps cause problems with posture. Ideally, I tell my clients, I want your ears over your shoulders. And when people send me pictures, so many people live their life like this. Now, I'm going to tell you about why that matters. So if you look around and you see those sweet elderly people that walk around like this, or really hunkered over, I don't know about you, but I've always thought that it was osteoporosis, that they were just, older, and that was just a process of aging and, degeneration, really. But the thing is if you know about posture and you know about forward head posture, when you have forward head posture, for every inch forward that your head is off of where it should be, you are putting 12 extra pounds of pressure on your spine. So those little old ladies that we see like that, it is often, or it can't, or, you know, little old guys, it can't, it's both. That can be forward head posture. Now that is what was going on with my own personal story. I talk to my clients about this all the time when we talk about posture, because that's part of the comprehensive exam that I do. You know, I'm not a chiropractor. I don't do anything that's out of my lane of travel, but I do share my personal story and why it's important to get so that you can correct that posture. You can't do it when you have a tongue tie, because it's like a hamster on a wheel. You just can't. But when I found out I had forward head posture, you guys know this, I was a hygienist for a bazillion years before this, and I had almost 2 inches of forward head posture. So how I like to explain it is, if you were to go pick up a 10-pound bowling ball and hold it right here, and I say 10-pound bowling ball because that is what your head weighs. And I always joke that women's head weighs 11 pounds. That's because we have bigger brains, but I'm just kidding. So 10 pounds right here. And so if you're holding it straight up and you've got the support of your whole arm, you're going to do okay. But if you start taking that bowling ball away from your body, that is going to get harder and harder to hold up. So right here, it's holding up straight. As you keep bringing it out, it's now more like it's on the end of a lever. So that makes a big deal. So for myself, that forward head posture was causing me to lose the curvature of the natural curvature of my neck. So by doing those sexy head weights and my posture strap, and it took a year, so it's not an overnight process. It takes time. It cost me $3,000 to have to wear that crazy stuff, but it helped correct that curvature of my neck. So another thing that I talked about in my email that went out today, and I want to make sure you understand this: all chiropractors are not created equal. So if you're a chiropractor and you want to argue with me, I hope you understand what I'm going to say here. So the chiropractor that I worked with and I helped, or that helped me, was in functional medicine. So those type of chiropractors really are well versed in how we can heal ourselves, what we can do without pills and potions or prescribing to the traditional way that Western medicine is. I'm not a huge fan of that, because we give pills, potions, we do surgeries, we do things that aren't necessarily finding the root cause resolution. So if you find a chiropractor who is not a crack and collect, so don't walk into some $25 facility and pay for your adjustment, you have to seek out somebody who understands functional medicine that's going to help you with that forward head posture. So very, very important that you understand who you're going to look for when you do that. So like I said, I did it for a year, and it still, to this day, I constantly am taking inventory of how my posture is. So how that relates to you as a tongue tie. First, we got to know whether you have a tongue tie or not. If you know you have a tongue tie and you've got all these issues and posture just happens to be one of them, there is a long-term consequences as far as having that posture that I want you to consider, because the sooner you do it, the better it is for the rest of you, for your body, for your life. So first, finding out whether you have a tongue tie. Then at that point, we have to deal with prepping for the frenectomy. We have to deal with the myofunctional impairment, all of that stuff. But there is always a point where I tell my clients, now you have your release. You are going to be so much more responsive to your chiropractic care and working on your posture. And for some of us, that's just straightening and strengthening our body and being cognizant of it. Okay, so I think, let me see. I really have talked about everything I wanted to talk about today. So what do you do to get started? You can do a couple things. First, you got to know whether you have a tongue tie. So if you're wondering about this posture stuff, if it's sitting with you and you feel it in your heart, like, hey, that's me, then we got to know whether you have a tongue tie. So you can start with assessing yourself with my free assessment tool, which you can get. Let me give that to you right here. Download it, answer your, go through those questions and get an idea. But the bottom line is you have to have an exam to determine a tongue tie. Don't send me pictures. Don't send me emails. I have to do an exam. I have to put you through functional assessments. I need to observe a lot of things. So we don't diagnose ties by pictures. I tell people that all the time. You have to have an exam. Once we do that exam, you know kind of what you need to do. We come up with a plan. So that's the process. But getting started, you could do that assessment tool and put yourself through those questions. Next week, I'm going to be talking about why sleep apnea is concerning. So big hot topic. If you're somebody who doesn't sleep, if you sleep next to somebody who snores or sucks the curtains off the wall, you want to listen because many of you guys know sleep apnea is why I do what I do, because it kills people. It's very expensive. It's debilitating. It's degenerative, and it is it's just an epidemic. So we're going to be talking about why sleep apnea is concerning. Lastly, remember to follow us. We're small but mighty. We're growing. My community of you guys grows drastically every week. I love it. If you want to get on the email list, you can also do that. I provide great value each week. Sometimes fun, sexy pictures of me in head weights. But I always provide something that is useful to you. So you can find us on YouTube. You can join the Tongue Tie and Myofunctional Therapy support group. And I will see you guys next time. Have a beautiful week.